goes right back to when we went to LAFCO, and it was not discussed at LAFCO, which it should have been, but suddenly appeared later on, and none of us were aware. And our claim of those of us who campaigned and went door to door to several thousand, if not more, homes, was people said, we don't know what this means. And some people were very distressed by us saying that. It's like, well, we're not stupid. We never said anybody was stupid. The point was, I don't think people knew. I certainly didn't know of all this information. I didn't know, and very few people, unless they made a point to study this, would have known that. So when we were saying that, yes, people didn't understand it. They truly didn't. It's not that they didn't have the capacity. They just didn't know this. And I didn't either. I'll admit it. I knew none of this.
To change this, does it have to go to a vote, or did I understand you to say that as a legislative body, if we said no districts?
No. It must go to a vote to be changed. Okay. The by-district option was selected. The only way you can change it was selected by a vote of the people. And because that's the case, there's only one way to change it, and that's to ask the people again.
And did I understand we had 38,000 thereabouts for a election in 2009?
That's correct, 38,000.
I don't know.
38,000 registered voters?
No, $38,000 to do an
dollars to
election.
put it back on the ballot. Many of you probably don't know this, but wear several hats in the city council, real estate broker, developer. Also have an exit poll company, and I talked to most of the people that left here from the districting meetings, and they all said the same thing. And I talked to people who actually voted for districts, and when they left, said, Scott, this doesn't make any sense to us. It doesn't make any sense to us. I believe from that I think the voters should have an opportunity to see this again, have the options, and present it before them. And I think that as a council, it's our job to put it back on the ballot.
LAFCO, when they incorporated you, was required to put only the options at large and by district on the ballot. You will have the option to put all three general law options, by district, from district, and at large on the ballot. So there's a little more flexibility for a council to put this on the ballot, giving all three options if you want, than LAFCO, which previously has been banned from doing it. The legislature, as she mentioned, has realized that doesn't make any sense. Why can't LAFCO put all three on the ballot? And the bill passed the Assembly 77-0. It went through Senate Committee 5-0, and it's on the Senate floor now. So
okay, so our thinking is not out of line with what's happening at the state level.
Right.
It's it is not. And as I said, I've seen what the challenges that has been leveled in Menifee, and I can tell you that I just don't think there's any legal basis for it. But that doesn't mean that there won't be a legal challenge, and it doesn't mean that there won't be a cost.
I'm sure there's going to be a legal challenge, and yes, that's one thing that we should probably consider is not just the cost of putting it on the ballot, but
it's true. And you don't have to decide today. And we wanted to present this to you now, let you mull it and think about it. And I would like direction from you, if you're willing to give it, that we go forward and at least prepare for the possibility that you might want to put it on the ballot, because your documents will have to be prepared. But other than that, at this point, I think you need to think about it. Because it may be that drawing a district line, as suggested, will make no difference, except you will run in a smaller district, and you'll represent your neighbors rather than the city.
Well, I think it would be instructive to look at, at least I'm going to be looking at how many actual people are voting in each of those, not just the population, because you could have representation that's upside down, that is not upside down, but that isn't anywhere near equal.
Yeah.
So I think,
as I said, that was a situation in Redlands. It was and actually it was the same situation in Colton. They had a couple of districts and Colton, the districts were drawn with protection for minority districts, so it wasn't a minority issue as such, but the districts the turnout was different in so many of them that you would have literally one individual representing, for one district, the fellow won by 3 votes, there were a total of 346 votes. In another district, it was 10,000. So, you know, you look at that and you think, it's supposed to be a representative council. Do you get it this way? And, you know, in small communities, it's difficult to make it work.
This is what stymies me about Sacramento. Did they ever consider, they only considered that and not, you know, smaller communities, or the law of unintended consequences?
Well, they did leave the choice to the voters, but the problem was that the voters don't really understand.
And the problem is they didn't require LAFCO to do any education of anybody.
That's right.
I'm prepared to vote on a map tonight, a district map.
You're prepared to vote on choosing one of these maps?
Yeah.
I'm not.
You're certainly not endorsing a district system by any means, you're simply following up on the people's vote. You certainly have the right, if you choose that, to hold off on that discussion, but it does give a little bit of concrete basis for the forums.
I think that's gonna be important to be able to get the message out even, that we be able to show something.
Yeah, the message out if anybody attends.
Do you have a map you wanna bring forward, Scott?
I have 3 that I like, and I'm sorry, Lois did a fantastic job, but I have to take Farnham number 2 because that's mine. I also like NDCB and I like NDCC. And honestly, any one of the 3. Well, I tried to, other than Windsong, when I was looking at it, I tried to keep the neighborhoods that were neighborhoods together. Windsong with the high populations was really hard to do, but then what I did like about national demographics is they did look at the option of dividing up the farm a little bit too. But then, if I lived in the farm, I don't know that I would like to be divided down the middle on who represents me. I think that may. Then they're double represented too. I don't remember.
I also marked 3, and I had Louisville 1, Farnham 2, and NDC's B.
See, like B and 2, and local 1 and
Say again, Marcia, your choices.
Lobo 1, Farnham 2, and then Plan B, NDC's Plan B.
Yeah, I like Lobo 1 too. The only problem is that Bob and Cheryl are in that district together.
I'm just saying I could accept any one of those 3.
Yeah, that was the only reason why I didn't go with that one. The Farnham 2 that I liked in B and C, everybody that sits here, all incumbents are separate districts already.
I think that would be a lot less confusing.